in Western North Carolina, all are predominantly white, that look like the NAACP in this week. And now think about this, our NAACP convention now is having this diversity. And I guarantee you, if our Governor McCory and Tom Tillis and Berger, the Senate leader and the Speaker at that time, had thought that what they were going to do, by doing what they did, they were going to create coalition between the NAACP and white folk in the mountains, they would have thought a second time about doing that. And it was those people in the mountain that took out those two extremist legislators using this framework.
1 minute on class, because you always talk about class, and you bring it into the discourse, and that's a part of building those coalitions. Not just race, but class. We got to have that.
Not just race, but class. Not just class, but race. False dichotomy. People say, "Is it race or class?" I say, "It is." It is. And you have to deal with the class issue, but in the South and in America, you cannot unhook that from the race issue. So in some of my progressive friends, when we first started, they said, "Well, let's just talk about poverty." I said, "No, we have to deal with poverty. But then you have to disaggregate it and deal with race. And then you have to understand it historically. Because you have to get people to wrestle with how race and class connect. But here's what we try to do at Moral Monday. If I might. Any Moral Monday folk here? From North Carolina? Come up here a second. Run real quick.
This is
run real
real.
quick. No, seriously. Come here. I want to show you something. Come on. Run real quick, Moral Monday. Because one of the things that we do is we make sure, come on quick, because I'm actually violating a Moral Monday principle, and that is having the mic.
You're here without the
without certain look at the podium. We never speak from the podium singular. There's no such thing as the leader coming, to speak. But part of what we do is, for instance, now let's just imagine, come quick. You the politician, you go stand over there in the corner and watch him. I'm just messing. Now, I'm actually going to use him as a prop. So I want you today to be the politician. I know that's bad, okay, but this is my buddy. But for today, I want you to stand in the corner. Because see, Democrat and Republican, you can't come on our stage. Because this stage is built for 4 groups of people. Number one, the experts in particular issues. So say we're talking about economics, I'm going to have, give me your hand, I'm going to have maybe the chair of economics at Chapel Hill of North Carolina Central, because he's clear.
Not Donald, he's the chair.
No, he's the chair. Donald's the chair. But I'm also going to have a person who's impacted by the negative policy. So this may be a mother who's poor, who's impacted by the policy. Then I may have a female rabbi who's going to speak.
Not a rabbi.
Yeah, a female rabbi that's going to speak to the issues, right? And then I may have a civil rights activist who's going to not today talk about civil rights, but talk about class. So the picture is one of diversity. Now, if on the day we're talking about racism, if we say talking about something like the racism, disparate impact of voting rights, this lady, Ann, might come to the mic and talk about how it's impacting black people. But this lady will come to the mic and talk about how it's impacting white women. You see, we don't play that game. Thank y'all, Mama. Thank y'all. The point is,
give a round of applause to man that's not traveled without his everybody arrested?
I think everybody does.
Will you raise your hand if you were arrested for Moral Monday? Everybody arrested? You all get arrested? Yeah, there you go.
But John, you are exactly right. We have to, for instance, this year, we're having our mass moral mobilization, February 14th. We're talking about this.
February 14th.
And we always have it in the winter, and people tell us, nobody's going to come, wait till the summer. I said, well, we don't want folk to come in the summer because they're not serious about long term. So every year since 2007, we've had no less than 5,000 people show up. 100,000 people last year, and most, as you said, major media, except for you all and MSNBC, didn't pick it up. Yeah. Now, 100,000 people in the South, biggest march since Selma. But my point is, this year, for instance, we're going to focus on voting, the ballot, continuing ballot. We're going to focus on raising the minimum wage. And we're going to call for some things I'm not going to say in here because too many cameras are running and they might send it back. Somebody might send it back to. There's a lot of cameras out there videoing that. Yeah. They don't think I saw that. But this is copyrighted. They better not show it anywhere else. I'm going to sue you and have a lot of money. I'll tell you right now. But anyway, but we're going to use minimum wage as a drill bit to drill down in the issue of economic disenfranchisement. We're gonna talk about women's health. Now this was a trick when I just said to women. So some people said to me, well, how is the NAACP tomorrow Monday gonna be on the side of abortion rights? So Janet Combs, my friend in Planned Parenthood, said, Rev. Barber, that's not necessary. Because the NAACP doesn't have a position on abortion. Doesn't have a position on same-sex marriage. Doesn't have a position on biracial marriage. We have a position on the right. Equal protection under the law. So Janet Combs and I decided we would talk about women's health. And we would come back at the people attacking Planned Parenthood by talking about all the other services that Planned Parenthood offers that the extremists don't ever talk about. All right? And it created a powerful coalition. The NAACP and Planned Parenthood to be together. Somebody brought up some of the old history about eugenics, and we dealt with all of that. And so one night we were on MSNBC, and Janet Combs, they said, Janet, you're here tonight to talk about abortion rights. And she says, no, I'm actually here to talk about voting rights and how it's impacting black people in North Carolina. What? And then they said, well, Rev. Barber, you're here, of course, to talk about voting rights. I said, no, I'm here to talk about women's health. So my point is, as you said, like class, those 5 areas, economic sustainability, educational equality, healthcare for all, environmental justice, fairness in the criminal justice system, and protecting and expanding rights. Because the only time, except twice, that we amended our Constitution was to expand rights. We never made it a practice to amend the Constitution to deny rights. It was always about that, but we've got to drill down, and we believe that this long language allows us to deny Medicaid expansion in a state that has 1.6 million poor people. 600,000 of them are children. 23,000 people being denied Medicaid expansion are veterans. 20,000 are construction workers. 20-some thousand are people working in the healthcare in the industry. And to do that in a state where the 1st congressional district is the 13th poorest district in the country, is not just Democrat, Republican, left or right. It's morally indefensible. It's constitutionally insane. And when you add to the fact that accepting Medicaid expansion would create 25,000 new jobs and bring $40 billion into the economy over 12 years, it is economically insane. And that's the argument we have to make.
Now, this is where you're going to see a miracle. It's going to be very amazing. In an incredibly short amount of time, we're going to have a whole bunch of questions, quick hit answers. It's going to be unbelievable. So, who's got a question for Reverend Barber? Oh my gosh, we're going to physics to physics. Let's go to Ted Newman, right there.
I would like.
Ted, you, as a scientist, you know you have to use the microphone.
I have a very loud voice. Reverend, how do we make more replicas of you to send you to Pennsylvania, to West Virginia, to South Carolina? But I'm dead serious about this. I find you to be unique. And I worry how we're going to make other people understand that there are people like you. Where are we going to find them? That's what frightens me.
Well, if I go to my Hebrew scriptures, it says everybody has not bowed to Baal. And the very fact that we could find 1,000 rabbis and imams and Christian clergy in North Carolina that would hook up with this movement is to me a sign that there are a lot of people. What we're going to try to do now is we're traveling, but we're real serious about it has to be indigenous leadership. Because I'm very careful not to try to reproduce this business of, you know, coming in, as one person one time told me, I'll come in if you let me keto. Well, you don't need that. You need people on the ground. But this is
about
helicoptering in. It doesn't work. Even King didn't do that. People misunderstood. King made sure that there was leadership on the ground in that community. What I am doing to try to do so, we created something now called MPOLIS, and Al MacLeod is working with me on this. The Moral Political Organizing Leadership Institute and Symposium and Summit, just formed it. And the goal is to train 100 clergy pastors a year of various faiths. And when I say pastor, I'm using it, you know, all-inclusive, imams, whatnot. In how to, number one, understand public policy, how to understand the deep foundation morally, whether it be constitutionally or through the faith, and then how to organize. Because I believe you're right. I believe we have to have a place where, when I studied the Old Testament, Dr. Eford taught us something I've never forgotten to do. He said, Isaiah was dead by about the 20th chapter. And yet, Isaiah goes on for 60 chapters. How does that happen? How does a dead man keep writing? Well, he didn't. The second and third parts of Isaiah were written by those who were trained under him, the school of prophets, that wrote in his name and carried on his tradition. You're right. We've got to do this. And everywhere I go and speak, that's what people do. But we're also going to set up this organization to train 100 young people in here. 100 young people. And I would love to talk with you about, because you know you physicists have a way of figuring out stuff.
It's a science.
Yeah, about how we, I'm serious, about how we do this, how we find funding, because it is critical that we raise a whole cadre, which is another reason I'm getting ready to do something that makes no sense. Everybody says it makes no sense. I'm going on sabbatical for 2 months in the middle of this movement at Union to reach the tool, to do some serious studies. I'm going to be working with, what's his name, Phyllis, on immigration. I'm going to be doing some work around economics.
You want to learn about finance so that you can talk more about it.
More about economics, because I was trained in public administration, but I want to go deeper into what this whole economic system that, you know, Otto Schwarmer talks about, the blind spot in our economic structures called consciousness. But I'm also going up there for 2 months to talk exactly about what you're talking, to think about that with other people. How do we empower, bring forth, sometimes birth, but sometimes resurrect people who were out there but quit, got discouraged, but now really this is the season. This is the season. So thank you.
Mr. Bittner's going to hate me for this, but what's the next question? I know who's got a question here? I want to, Derrick. Whoa, okay, let's go right there.
Thank you, Reverend Barber. I wanted to move along on the same track. As you were speaking, I felt so inspired. And I wanted to put you under my arm and take you home with me. And I know I can't do that.
You're too cute. My wife is right there. She said, none of
I
that
met
going
her.
on.
I know she's dangerous. She's protecting you. But I would love to have a copy of your inspiring speech. At least to let us have something that we can fall back on, look at it, to get us started.
Yeah, we have a YouTube channel called Forward Together Tomorrow Monday with every video we've ever done. The book was written from the perspective of preaching in the public square. That's why I wrote that first book. It tells you what happened that day, what was going on, the number of people that got arrested, and then it goes through the kind of oratory that's necessary to unite people together. But it also has in the back of it the strategies. As I said, we have beginnings of this Tomorrow Monday starting in 9 states, but we're very serious about it's got to be built. Now let me give you one quick, before I came on this cruise, I spent a day with Red Letter Christians, and Jim Wallace and Tony Campello. These are young Christians who were very, 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 very conservative. Even though I don't like you that word, I'm a conservative, but that's a whole other issue. But I want to conserve justice and love stuff. But my point is they were over there on that, you know what I'm saying. And now they're saying, wait a minute. And they invited, they have a 3-day conference every year to be re-educated, reintroduced, if you will, to the issues of faith as it relates to justice, women, how we treat the stranger, how we love people, and how we lift up those on the margin. So something's afoot, I believe, in this nation. It really is. And it's important that progressive understand. Now some people, John, will come into this because it's a tactic. And you know what? That doesn't bother me. See, I'm a pastor. People come to church for all different kinds of reasons. But I'm glad that they come. Some people come to church as atheists. Come on. Some come as agnostics. You know, but if we can at least come, and however you can come at it, if we can agree that justice, that treating women right, public education, that fair tax reform, that health care, somewhere intersects at some deep moral level, and that these are things we must fight for, not just as a political battle, but that at the end of my life, for me and many others, I don't believe it was worthy of me having breath if I didn't do something in my life to stand with, fight for, and fight with those on the margins. I mean, life was just a waste of time. And that's what it means to be moved morally. The folk may come at it from very different places, but at the end of the day, it's about your own soul satisfaction, as my grandmother said, but it's also about the soul of this nation that I'm not, and many other people are not yet willing to give up on.